first of all, I joked in the rundown Juan Soto who, but also, doesn't this annoy you even more that the Yankees insisted on playing Alex Verdugo all of last season? Here's a stat for you.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Bryan McKeon. Bryan, how you doing?
Stacey, game ended on a somber note, but the Yankees get a first game of a series victory.
Yeah. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. On today's show, we will preview the next game against Seattle on Tuesday night. We're going to talk about a rumor that's going around regarding the Yankees and a former pitcher possibly reuniting. I don't know. But first, let's talk about this game against the Mariners, which was really great until the very end.
Yeah, has to be mentioned first. Obviously, all of our thoughts are going to Oswaldo Cabrera right now. You see more of these injuries in sports now, year after year, where body parts are going in directions that body parts are not supposed to go in. His leg looked brutally injured. He's going to be out for a while. You could see it all over the faces of the Yankee players that were out there on the field. Aaron Boone, Aaron Judge, just a really, really brutal scene out there that really took away from a really nice victory for the Yankees.
Yeah, as you said, legs are not supposed to do what his dude did. I appreciate the fact that they didn't show 25 replays of it because, sometimes sports broadcasts do that, and I'm glad they didn't do that in that instance. I also would like to give props to the Seattle Mariners fans who stood up and clapped for him as the ambulance was leaving the stadium. If you didn't stay up to watch it, an ambulance had to come and get him. That's how bad it was. They had to put him on a stretcher and take him out in an ambulance. You couldn't get up on that leg. It was just, it's a devastating injury for, he's not the best player on the team, but he's always there with a smile on his face. He's getting things done when he needs to, and scoring on that sac fly and just So
if you guys weren't awake, it was basically a play at the plate on a sac fly where he tried to, it's almost like he got caught in between trying to stay on his feet and slide, and then he made the decision to slide late when the play was at the plate, and his leg just bent in the wrong direction, and it just a really, really scary stuff. He was down in obviously excruciating pain. The whole Yankee team was out there really to try and support him and be there for him. But I mean, they had to get an ambulance in the field. They had to get a stretcher out. It was a brutal scene that took a while to get done. So, really, really tough stuff to watch. So obviously all of our thoughts and a quick recovery for Cabrera.
So let's talk about Schmidt. I mean, he did a great job in tonight's game. I mean, honestly, he only gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. There were 2 solo shots in there, and the last run came when he left the game, but he was responsible for the base runner in the 7th inning. At least he got to the 7th inning. He just couldn't get an out in the 7th inning.
Yeah, he actually struggled to start this game too. Like, he didn't have his good stuff. He wasn't really spotting the ball well, and managed to get through. These are the ways they're going to have to win Clarke Schmidt starts, right? He's going to have to give them quality starts into the 6th inning, but there's a lot of value in this because you get Max Fried later on today. That's a huge battle out of Clarke Schmidt to be able to get through this game the way that he did and give them a chance to win with giving up minimal runs. They need that, and the offense obviously blew up in this game, which gave them an opportunity. By the way, the Yankees I'm not sure on this. I'd have to look this up, but they might be the team with the most double-digit run tallies in the season so far. They've had over 10 runs a couple of times this year now.
Yeah, I have a stat somewhere down in the rundown about something to that effect, or something to the effect of they only did it a number of times last season, and they're already almost at the point where they're past that run total on
Yeah.
May 13th.
In bunches for sure. But yeah, really impressive stuff out of Clarke Schmidt today.
Also impressive. We need to talk about Trent Grisham because, first of all, I joked in the rundown Juan Soto but also, doesn't this annoy you even more that the Yankees insisted on playing Alex Verdugo all of last season? Here's a stat for you. Alex Verdugo's 11th home run was in August of 2024. Trent Grisham's 11th and 12th home runs were on May 12th.
Yeah, I actually was shocked to learn Alex Verdugo had 11 home runs last season. It didn't feel like that.
No.
Yeah, it does annoy me more because the persistence and unwillingness to admit that they were wrong on a signing with Alex Verdugo is what bothers me more. You can go out there and take your chances of getting players, right? I have no problem with that. Go out there and sign guys that you don't know how much they have left. Go out there and take chances. I'm fine with that. But once you realize the guy doesn't have anything left, you also got to be willing to cut ties. They're not willing to do that. So Grisham's been great. I'm glad they kept him. I'm glad. I didn't think that he had this in him for sure. He's forced his way to play almost every single day. They have no option at this point with him. But yeah. Well, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, Stacey, with the Yankees' reluctance to ever admit they're wrong on a player, and I think this will be it'll be very pertinent in segment 2 with the topic that we talk about. But it's just, I mean, what an unbelievable! He's really been, as a guy that you thought was going to be the fourth outfielder no matter what. He's been a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. So Rodriguez hit the first home run. Grisham ties the game. Polanco hits the second home run for the Mariners, and then Grisham hits the second home run for the Yankees. The 6th inning that starts off with Trent Grisham. The Yankees explode for, was it 6 runs? Wait, 6 runs?
In
5 runs.
In the 5th inning? I think it was 6 runs. Let me check for you, though.
Let's double check that.
Let me confirm it.
I just want to get that right because I don't want people yelling at me in the comments.
6 runs, yep.
Okay. So it was the Grisham home run, then Judge single, Rice double, Goldschmidt single, Bellinger single, Wells 3-run shot, which good for him. It was his 25th career home run, so that's a nice number there, his 8th of the season. His first 6 home runs were all solo shots. His last 2 were a grand slam and a 3-run home run.
That'll pad the RBI totals up a lot too.
Yeah.
And good. That's a great amount of power out of your catcher position that you don't get a lot, especially when their third string catcher Ben Rice has given them a lot of power too. So that spot in the order they've gotten a ton of production out of. I do want to say too, in all of the players that got the 6th inning started off, Judge, typical. Ben Rice for this year, typical. Goldschmidt for this year, typical. I love seeing Cody Bellinger involved in that. Even though it was just a single, I mean, he's
slowly starting to do things.
Exactly. And the best part about it is it's not like the last couple of years in the Cubs where he was the focal point of their offense. He just has to be this.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be anything special, but if he's just this, he's going to want to finish in the year with some really solid numbers.
So this was the stat. It's not double digits, but per Katie Sharp, research guru, Yankees with 5+ run innings. So innings of 5 or more runs, 12 times already in 41 games in 2025. They did it 15 times in 162 games in 2024.
Really impressive stuff. And I'm assuming the majority of those 5-run inning games include double-digit final score tallies, which is important too. I mean, they're able to score. And we've said it this year, they're going to struggle with their starting staff, Stacey. So they're going to have to score runs. That's how they're going to win games. They're going to be some games they're going to have to score 10 runs to win. And that's a really good stat to be a part of it, especially this early on in the season. It's before we hit June.
So let's talk about the fact that, Leiter made it 8-3 with that hit. It was Schmidt's base runner. And then Tim Hill gives up a 2-run shot to Cal Raleigh. So that makes it 8-5, makes it a little sweaty. But then Anthony Volpe hits the home run.
Yep.
Thank you, Anthony Volpe, to make it 10-5. Then the sac fly happened. But also, Austin Wells hit a sac fly. So the Yankees now have 17 of them on the season.
You know what, though? That's a thing, too. With the modern-day analytical baseball, that's not a modern-day approach. It's not. Sac flies aren't the thing now. It's supposed to be when there's a guy on third base, you're trying to hit a home run. That's what it is. So I love the situational baseball. You don't see a lot of that. And Stacey, it needs to be said, that is how you win games in the month of October. It might not be flashy, but those runs count. Those runs count for the same amount as that wins count in April. Those games all matter. Those runs all matter. Those runs matter a lot in October. So huge. I love seeing stats like that, even though it sounds boring and baseball nerdy, and it's not the long ball and it's not what everyone wants to see and everything like that. Those runs count. Those runs count the same amount as a solo home run. And it's a lot easier to get a sac fly in the month of October than it is to get a solo shot.
Yeah. So Hill gave up the 2-run shot. Williams came in to end that inning. He gave up a hit, then he got the out, and then Ian Hamilton came in, closed it out. 1 inning with 2 strikeouts, and the Yankees win. Yankees win 11-5. So good start up in Seattle. Also news, DJ LeMahieu was on the way to Seattle. He's going to be starting in Wednesday's game. It's because of the timing of the rehab. He had to come back, even though it seems silly that he's flying all the way out for 1 game in Seattle to come all the way back to play the Mets on the weekend. I think the rainouts screwed with him in Scranton. So, there's only a certain amount of time that you could be there, I guess is what happened. And that's how it worked out that way. So
well, yeah, but I'm sure he could have still just spent an extra day or 2 in the Bronx and hit the batting cages. He didn't need to join the Major League Club.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I think it's silly that, we joked about it on yesterday's show.
I'm sorry. Like, I hate sounding like 1950s, man, but like, what are we doing with the timelines? And he has to come back at a certain
Yeah, like, why are you flying him all the way out to Seattle for 1 game? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. It's not an easy flight to go out to Seattle and back to New York. Those are long flights. Those are tiring.
I'm sure he's flying
flights.
Private. I mean, I'm sure he's not on Southwest economy class, but like,
he's on Frontier. He's probably standing up on a plane. Because he's coming from Scranton. All right, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news, so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up next, there's a silly rumor going around about a former Yankee possibly rejoining the Yankees, and we're going to parse through the rumor.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. And FanDuel makes it easy to stay in on the game. Before tip-off, end live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans now have more ways than ever to play big and win and play smart. Guys, the Knicks taking a 3-1 series lead. Is that not the story or what? I mean, I can't believe it. No one can believe it. Now Jason Tatum's hurt. Who knows where this series is going, but it looks like the Knicks are going to have a stranglehold currently on all sports bets markets. Stacey, I know your reaction is crazy behind the scenes right now. The Knicks are the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. Soak it in, New York. That's amazing to hear. Are you new to FanDuel? Well, it's the perfect time to sign up. You can head over to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. And if that bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. You can make every moment more with FanDuel. It's an official sports betting partner of the NBA. And guys, we have a new way for you to submit your Fan Mail Friday questions on YouTube. Go over to our channel's page, scroll over to the Posts tab, and you will find the post where you can leave your questions. This week's deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m., so you can get those questions in. It's right there. It's that simple. Just click the comment area, and boom, you're ready to go. Makes it a lot easier for us and a lot easier for you. So, Stacey, I want to discuss this, but I want to preface first saying something. There are a few people out there, and the number few, let's key in on that term. There are a few people out there who are actually inside sources when it comes to the New York Yankees, that are actually people that are inside the organization, have access to the manager, access to the general manager, and really find out information they're maybe not supposed to find out as soon as they are, but they're able to because they're insiders. Jack Curry is one of them that I'd give credit to. Michael Kay is one of them that I would give credit to. People that work for the team every day and are around the team daily. Let's just leave that there. So if you're a Yankee fan, be a little hesitant when you hear a talking head I'll say it straight out, a podcast, a TV show, a radio show, anywhere out there confirming that a trade is going to happen, that they're going to make a move, that this is going to happen, when there is no statistical evidence, and if you're a sports fan that has a take, would never imagine this happening in your life, ever. Because it does bother me as a, quote unquote journalist or someone who covers sports for a living and covers a team for a living, the amount of bleep that is just made up, Stacey. And I know we're in a content industry, and I know, listen, me and you want to have as many views as everybody else, and we're one of the most listened to Yankee shows out there, but neither of us come on here on any day and just make stuff up that have no credibility, no sources. Just be careful out there if you're a Yankee fan, believing people for the sake of believing people. The amount of followers that you have on Twitter does not translate to credibility. Believe me, it does not. I'm not going to say the person's name, but you guys can figure it out, I'm sure. A Yankee podcaster, not reporter, reported today or yesterday that the Yankees are going to be trading for Sonny Gray from the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, may sound funny from a Yankee perspective, and I don't know how many Yankee fans out there actually pay attention to the rest of baseball when he's not a Yankee anymore. Sonny Gray's been awesome since he was a Yankee. Since they traded him to the Cincinnati Reds, and then he went to the Minnesota Twins, and now he's a St. Louis Cardinal, he's been awesome. He's finished in the top 3 in Cy Young voting twice since he's been a Yankee. So he's been really good with them. He's currently in year 2 of 3 in a $75 million contract extension he signed with the Cardinals. He does have a club option for the 4th year. It's kind of like a player option, though, because if he opts into the deal, they can buy him out for $5 million. So he kind of has a 4th year with a $5 million buyout attached to it. Gray's been elite pretty much since leaving the Yankees. So, why would the Yankees not be after an elite starter? Here's my thing, Stacey. There's many questions to this. If you're the New York Yankees, let's start there. This is a team that religiously refuses to admit they're wrong ever, especially over the last decade. Refuses to admit they're wrong when they are wrong on a player, when it comes to playing him more than he should be playing him less than he should be playing. There's a million scenarios that we've seen of this exact scenario. The Yankees, maybe they weren't wrong with the way Sonny Gray's tenure as a Yankee went, but when it comes to the way Sonny Gray went and how they handled Sonny Gray, they were wrong. Because Sonny Gray went to different teams, was basically told, no, be Sonny Gray. Pitch the way you want to pitch. Don't listen to what other people tell you to pitch. And he became elite since then. So they were wrong on Sonny Gray. Why would the Yankees, whoever show any motivation to do this, bring in a player that failed with them to admit they're wrong, that they failed on him? I don't think that's going to happen at all, Stacey.
No. I mean, there are many reasons why this isn't going to happen. One, the Cardinals are right behind the Cubs. They're doing well this season. Yeah. They've won 9 games in a row heading into Tuesday. Like, why would you
get rid of your best pitcher?
Yeah.
We've also gotten to this rhythm, too, in the last 20 years or so, I want to say, where Yankee fans seem to think that the rest of Major League Baseball is like their farm system. The other players are just developing on other teams to be traded. I know it seems like that with some. It seems like that with some teams, but it's not true. Yeah, it's not, and definitely not in this scenario. So why would the Yankees do it and admit they're wrong? Why would the Cardinals do it? A team that's trailing the Cubs by a half game for first place and get rid of their best pitcher, who, by the way, the Nolan Arenado stuff makes sense. He's an older player who's owed a lot of money and has a couple years left. Sonny Gray is an older player, but still really effective. That's a top-tier starter for them at making $25 million a year. That's a very affordable contract. Why would they move that deal if they're trying to save money? That's an economical deal to have on their roster. Also, let's add this little tidbit in there, Stacey. I went to Spot Track and looked at the contract information. Sonny Gray has a full no-trade clause. Why in the world would Sonny Gray accept this trade?
Right.
Do you think he wants... he speaks fondly of his time in New York, but do you think he wants anything to do with coming back to the Yankees? Absolutely not. With the way fans treated him, spoke about him, and the organization treated him on the way out, he wants nothing to do with coming back to the Yankees. So with a full no trade, I just, we had to cover this because it is a big story that came out yesterday, and people were all over it and stuff like that. I just get bothered when you want to spit out theories of what they should do, could do, whatever. I'm totally on board with that. Do that all you want. But to just make stuff up and act like it's fact and then have the fan base believe you because you have a lot of Twitter followers, That's the kind of stuff that bothers me. And that's the kind of stuff that I really, as a person who covers a team, I kind of don't stand for, because it's really, really aggravating. And this is clearly a rumor that the person pulled out of their backside. Honestly.
Well, it reminds me of all those articles that are still happening when you log into Google and so is predicted to sign here and so is predicted to be traded here, when it's really just one site taking information from a blog and turning it into an article, making you think that this is legit news when it's not. And it's the same sort of thing. This is the kind of information we have now, and you have to be really careful with what you read, where you read it, who you're reading it from, because just because something says sporting news doesn't mean it's the same sporting news that was, one of the best sports publications for over 100 years. It's not that anymore. Same thing with Newsweek. You got to be careful with this stuff, but you can't listen to someone on a podcast. Like, what if I came out and said something like that? Like, would people believe me? Probably not. I don't think so, but I would never do that, because I would never feel comfortable enough to do that. Like, I don't understand how people feel comfortable making stuff up. Like, that just sounds strange to me.
I'm always very comfortable, and we've had plenty of people. If you look back at our interview series in the off season, we had plenty of people on this show that we know personally that are actual inside sources with the team, that we've blatantly right in front of you interviewed them, talked to them, have their numbers clearly. Like, we've got connections inside the organization too, and we hear stuff from those people, and we still don't report it because we're like, I don't know how much, I don't want to be that person, stuff like that. And rumors like this that are just clearly, blatantly made up. That's what bothers me, and it's clearly made up. I get it. We all want the views. We all want the clicks. And me and Stacey are, fighting for that 10,000 subscriber mark that we're close to. We talk about it all the time, right? We're talking about getting 2 million views soon and everything like that. Like, we're right there, and we get it. We're in that industry too. We want to make as much money as possible too, but we don't do it at the cost of making stuff up. And this is clearly a report that was just made up, and people just took it and ran with it and believed it.
The fact that people were taking it and running with it just boggles my mind. Why would you even think that this has any kind of...
Because it's for shock value. It's because it gives you that's why the player that they're trading for in Sonny Gray was chosen. It didn't go out there and say they're going to trade for Justin Verlander or whatever, and even that would cause shock value. No. This is for pure shock value. They're going to get Sonny Gray, what? And it gives you a click, and people are going to go listen to that podcast now because the guy said that. It just it's embarrassing. It is. I don't mean to be condescending when I say this, but it's the year 2025. We have to get better at media literacy. We have to get better at not blindly hearing, you know what I mean? Hearing something and blindly thinking, oh yeah, that's definitely true. No matter who you hear from. You can't do that. Completely agree.
You can't
well
do
said
it.
On your part.
Coming up, we're going to preview the middle game in Seattle between Max Fried and Bryan Woo. All right, so it's the middle game of a 3-game set. It's only 3 games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yankees spend all day, Thursday flying, probably nighttime into Thursday flying home to get ready for the Mets. We have Max Fried going up against Bryan Woo. Bryan Woo was 4-1 with a 3.25 ERA, not too shabby for him. But he's going up against Max Fried, who's 6-0 with a 1.05 ERA, which we've said multiple times in the last week and a half. We did not expect this from Max Fried. We didn't expect him to not be good. We just didn't expect this from him.
Who could have? Who could have? I mean, he's been the best pitcher in all of baseball. Again, the last game he gave up 1 run and his ERA rose. So he's been that good. Bryan Woo also, though, has been really solid for the Mariners so far this year. Younger pitcher, but been really good for them. Kind of reeks of the kind of guy that dominates the Yankees. This is the guy that's going to shut the Yankees down. He's got that ERA and that kind of pitch format. Max Fried's going to have to give them length and shutout type stuff. He's going to have to be that good for them.
Now, I will say this. We thought the same thing about Rodon going into the weekend against the A's.
True.
We're due for a Max Fried letdown. Now, when we say letdown, we mean like he might give up 2 runs, like 2 runs in 6 innings. Like, oh no. I'm not expecting like a blow up game from Max Fried, but I'm not expecting him to be as dominant as he's been. Because I mean, it stands to reason he's gonna slow down at some point. He can't pitch to this level the whole season. If he does, I will eat my hat.
Yeah, I mean, if it does, he's gonna win the Cy Young easier than Garrett Cole did.
Yeah,
It's gonna be that good of a season. It's gonna be one of the. If he does, it's gonna be one of the best Yankee seasons of all time when it comes to pitching. That's how good.
and
he's
like
been.
one of the best pitching overall seasons of all time.
He's been that good, so he's gonna give you a letdown at some point. This kind of feels like the spot where it might happen. Although the Mariners are not known for their run scoring prowess, so I mean, he could be able to slow them down. But this is going to be a tough one. It's a tough spot, especially coming up the victory. The team's going to be down after the injury news too. So there it is a tough spot. I also, side note, I'm a little upset that you're not going to get to see Max Fried against the Mets. You want to see the best face the best, and just with how the Mets have played this year with Lindor and Soto having the seasons they're having, you kind of would have wanted to see Max Fried go out there and face that Met lineup. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But overall, there's going to be a letdown at some point. You hope it's not here, but he is due for one. Let's just give you that kind of forewarning about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of stinks that he's not going to see the Mets. Hopefully he will when they play in Citi Field.
That series, I want to ask you this. Is there a little bit of mustard that's taken off the excitement of that series because of what the Knicks are doing? Because people have been saying that there's a little bit less excitement out there about the Yankee-Mets series and a little bit definitely less people talking about it because of the Knicks. I do feel that way. That if the Knicks were eliminated by now, this would be the number one story.
Oh yeah. I think so. I think so, but I also think that the fan bases, depending on who wins, are going to treat it like it's the World Series because it's Yankees Mets. They're back to 3 games. It's back to the weekend series like it used to be when the Subway Series first started. I felt like it lost a little bit of its luster when they kept giving us weekday series and they were only 2-2.
Agreed.
And now it's back to that where it's 3 games again. You have the ESPN game. They're not on Fox though.
No,
so that's good.
It does have that bigger feel to it. I would agree with you. It does have that. There's a lot of energy around this though that these two teams playing, especially with the start the Mets have gotten off to. They've been so good, but these games aren't in Citi Field. The Mets are basically unbeatable at home. They don't lose games at home. But yeah, both teams have been really good. I mean, Yankees are now 7 games over 500, which people don't realize. Like they've been really good too. So this is going to be. This is one of those starts where you're just saying, please, Rodon, don't give me a letdown on Friday night. Please pitch solid and go out there and shove. It would be such a great spot for Rodon to be able to do that. It's a big game for him. It's for as much of it being a mid-May series where the games don't matter like that much when it comes to the grand scheme of things. These games have to matter a little bit. There's going to be a little more energy out there in that building for these games as there would for a regular game. Let's face it. If they were playing the White Sox in this weekend series, it would mean a little less than the Mets.
Or if they were playing the Mets and the Mets didn't have Juan Soto, it would just be another Subway Series.
He's going to get eviscerated, right? His first at bat Friday night, he's going to get booed like crazy.
Oh, I'm going to hear the boos up here in Rockland County. Like, it's going to be, Yeah, it's
going to be bad.
It's going to be bad. And then he's probably going to hit a home run because, every time the Yankees fans boo someone or chant something like with an expletive for Altuve, he usually hits something. So that's going to happen with Soto.
I hope Rodon starts that at bat off with the breaking ball, but knowing Rodon is going to start it off with a fastball and Soto's going to turn on it. Soto's going to be ready for a fastball too. By the way, if I could bet any kind of money on Soto swinging first pitch, I'd bet whatever I had on that. He's 100% going to go up there and try and shut the fans up first pitch and try to hit a ball 900 feet. Yeah. 100% I can guarantee that he's going to do that. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting series. It's going to be really, really interesting. I hope the Yankees win it. It's going to be tough. The Mets have been really good this year, but it's going to be a fascinating series to watch.
Yep, we're going to talk all about it Friday when we preview it. All right, well, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as we said earlier, we will be previewing the big Subway Series later this week. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Bryan McKeon. We'll catch you tomorrow.